Today we are talking about short shots around the green, and I'm going to show you how thinking about where you finish can really help what happens through impact. Short game is today's topic, and we have found a situation here just short of the 13th green. We've got around about 20 yards to that flag, and in today's lesson you're going to learn how thinking about where you finish the golf swing can really help you organise what happens through the downswing and into impact to help you hit these shots a little bit more efficiently and ultimately help you get up and down a little bit more. We're going to get into that in a moment, but just before, if you're not a subscriber, it is absolutely free. You know the drill. The link is down in the description box below. Give that a click, and when you have subscribed, also click the little bell icon, because that just means you'll be notified each time I upload a video. So what do we mean by self-organise? Well, what we're really going to do in this video is we're going to get you to focus very much on where you'd like to be at the end of this golf shot and having a few checkpoints you're looking to work towards. And then in practice, your goal very simply is to try and make a movement and achieve those end positions. And if you can achieve those end positions, we know that certain things have happened through the shot. So let's go ahead and hit this one up onto that green. I've got my 60-degree wedge here, and I'm looking to play what I'm going to class as a fairly mid or a basic shot. So this is going to go in fairly low and hopefully end up fairly close to the flag. Okay, so when we take a look at the end position here, that was kind of the flight that I would want. Let's look at a couple of things that I'd like to see in this end position. Notice how my belt buckle is pretty much facing the target, or in this case it's the camera. My chest is also facing the target and the camera. And just notice where my hands are at this point relative to where they would have been at setup. At setup they would have been somewhere over here. So they certainly haven't gone down towards the target. They've actually traced what we call inwards and left. If I place my trail hand back on, notice how I've got good connection between my trail arm and the right side of my body. And notice how the loft on the golf club is still pointing pretty much up towards the sky. I'd actually like to see the leading edge roughly about the same as my spine angle that I've tilted over the golf ball. And my trail heel has just begun to lift off the ground. And notice how my arms are nicely extended, but they're not solid straight, they're just nicely relaxed. So those are the things that I really like you to think about when you're hitting these shots, because very often for these shots, we'll often see an end position where something like this happens, where I'm certainly not as rotated in my body. The club face has started to rotate and it's kind of starting to point more down towards the ground. My trail arm has actually lost a little bit of connection between my body. And often we see this in golfers where they're almost trying to swing the club head and the hands too much down towards the target. If I make a little rehearsal again, notice how my hands are going to trace around to my left. That's not doing that intentionally. It's because if I keep my arms connected and I rotate my body, my hands start to trace around to the left, and this is what we'd like to see. Now, this end position would certainly change if I was looking to hit, let's say, a super high shot or potentially a much lower shot, but we're looking at these kind of standard 20-yard shots around the greens where we're looking to just hit them on a nice mid-flight, strike them well, control the trajectory, the distance and the spin, and hit them pretty close. So I really want you to think about these key checkpoints at the end position: body facing the target, hands tracing inwards, loft pointing up, trail arm connected. And then your job is just to make some little practice swings, figuring out how you connect those tops. How do you take a starting position or a starting form, if you like, and move that towards a finishing form? Now, when I hit these shots, I'd love you to actually stand there for a few seconds until the ball's finished and just kind of tick those off. You know, did I have those checkpoints in place? And that's really what we're going to try and get you to do in your practice, is hit these shots with that little almost checklist in the back of your mind. And at the end of the shot, assess to yourself, how well did you do? Did you do those things that you wanted to? If you didn't, have another go, try and focus on those things. And I really like this because this is, say, very much self-organizing. We're not really telling you what to do, more of where we'd like you to be at the end, and then you have to figure out how you get to that point. Because I guarantee if you can hit these shots better, you're certainly going to lower your scores, because very often when we do miss a green, it's not just off and it's not 60 yards away. It's these kind of 15 to 30 yard shots where we need to get up and down to keep our momentum going and keep our score going as well. So thinking about where you end the shot can really help you with your delivery, your impact, and all those things that are related to how close that ball ultimately ends up to the flag. So, little short game lesson, I hope that helped. Please share this with someone who you think can benefit from this information. Leave me a comment down below and give it a thumbs up if you did like this video. That really does help me. And like we said at the start, there is a subscription link in the description. And there's also one at the end of the video just over here. Give that a click and it means you won't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching. We'll hopefully see you back here again soon.